What's going on, Danny? How you been?
What's going on, Dave? It's been awesome, just working hard. Definitely working hard, definitely working a lot.
There's been a lot of talk about the summer games, the Olympic Games, but there's another set of summer games that are going on, and we're going to be talking about that today. But before we do that, anything you want to say?
Yeah, guys, I know I said it before in the previous episodes, I try to get the YouTube channel thing going, but besides the job stuff, I've been getting a lot of film stuff. So I got a film getting ready to be filmed this month, which is pretty awesome. So just kind of scrambling to get everything together to get that started. I'm really excited. It's a project that I've had for years on the back burner. And now it's going to come into fruition. Scream update is, yes, we are doing that. So that's going to be my next one right after this. So our Scream fan film is going to happen, which we're excited about. So we were planning, we're in the works with me and my production partner. And what's awesome is all of this is going to be under my brand new company. Rise Productions is an official LLC, which is nice. And so we're going to do all this, and I'm super excited for it. Got some side gigs as well. That's why, haven't been on YouTube lately. So I'm glad to be here again with Dave, to have all this happen. So yes, there are a lot of things in the works. So for all my fans, I'm so sorry for the Danny Vega show, but I promise as soon as I can figure it out that we can make this all happen, we'll be back on board. So
fantastic. Well, it's good to hear that you got all this stuff in the works. That's good too.
Yeah, the dream's coming true, man. The dream's coming true. You just got to chip it away, using this job to finance everything, because we all know as indie filmmakers, the budget thing could be a problem, right? So a lot of fundraisers and whatnot, but to have extra equity, if you will, to go ahead and put it towards our projects ourselves, it saves a lot of time, and it actually gets these projects done, instead of hoping that someone will go ahead and fund the project.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And speaking of funding projects, so we're going to do something special here. We're doing it all summer long, so that by the time you're seeing this, every single video that gets 100 comments and 100 likes, you're going to be eligible to win the Puppet Master Blu-ray Collection box set. So I scored a great deal on it, so I'm keeping the trunk. You're going to have the other item, right? There's two of them.
Yes.
So you're going to have the nice box set that goes for around $120. So at the end of the summer, what we'll do is we'll draw out some names from all the videos that hit 100 comments, 100 likes, and you'll win that box set. So I think that's
super exciting,
awesome.
too. Puppet Master is definitely one of my faves back in the day.
Yeah, and the Killer Dolls are back, so you never know.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about what we're here to talk about today. So horror films for fans being made by fans is a very easy thing to say, but Michael Leavy from the Fuzz on the Lens team is the living embodiment of that saying, which is evident in his relationship with the fans. So if you haven't talked to him through social media, or you haven't met him at a convention, you're in for a big surprise, because he's out there, he's getting opinions from the fans, he makes a little bit of adjustments to it, and he's great to his fans too. So I had the pleasure of meeting him a few years ago when we started up the channel under Windman and Horror, and we had him on for a Terrifier 2 interview. So we're going to go ahead and talk to him about the culmination of all his love and his passion and where it's brought him to, which is a survival horror film called Stream, which comes out on August 21st. And, think of The Running Man on opposite day. It's it's not like we're paying people and criminals to go in there and survive. We're paying people to go and hunt and kill people.
Yes.
And this is a guest at a hotel, so this is going to be a fun thing to watch. And for the rest of this month, what we're going to be seeing is we're going to go over the tail of the tape. We're going to introduce the characters for Stream and what you get to expect from some of these characters that you're going to meet very soon. So we'll be right back with Mike Leavy, and talk to you in a minute.
It's time to put some skin in the game with the brand new Stream film coming from the same people who brought us the Terrifier franchise.
There's a new independent horror film called Stream.
They just released the new teaser trailer for the movie Stream, brought to you by Fuzz on the Lens.
If that does not sound familiar to you, then I don't know where the hell you've been for the last few years.
It's post-Terrifier 2, it's pre-Terrifier 3, and it has the same team.
I'm pretty excited to see what this is about.
I've been waiting quite a bit for this movie, and I'm so excited.
I'm really
really excited to see this. They never disappoint with the kills.
Looks absolutely fantastic with tension and atmosphere.
I love these type of movies. Unhinged terror, unhinged fun.
Style points. 300. More kills equals more points. Creativity counts. Games are as old as the world.
What are you talking about? A game? These are people's lives, for Christ's sake.
You have an audience. Blood on the ground means points on the board. Buckle up. Warm-ups are over, ladies and gents. Let's play ball!
We hope you enjoy your stay here with us as much as we will.
Happy hunting!
Hey, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's an honor to be on here, and I'm super excited to get to talk with you about everything that's going on in my world.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
Thank you for being with us again. Nerdbox and Women in Horror has supported the film, and you've been a great part of our growth as an organization. So thank you for being a part of us and joining us once again.
Of course, I'm just honored to have been a part of that growth and to continue to support you guys. You guys have been there with us right from the start as well, and it's nice to be able to help each other out. So I'm really happy to be here.
Now, I know you probably have done it a million times, but before we dive into some questions, you want to just give us a quick preview of what people are going to expect on the 21st of August?
Yeah, so super excited. We're coming out with a movie called Stream, and it's a modernized slasher film that kind of takes what we love about those slasher films from the 70s and 80s and even the 90s and, brings it into nowadays. And we do that by utilizing technology and the dark web and the internet and phones and, security cameras and things like that. As you mentioned, it is a movie about hunting and competition and sporting, so to speak. And it's something that we've been working on for quite a while. It's really was written in like 2015, around that time. And, Dan, to your point about, raising the funds and trying to find the money and all that stuff, it took a while to get there. And obviously Terrifier 1, Terrifier 2, all in between, and obviously now Terrifier 3.
Yes.
So it's been a long journey and a long road, but I'm super happy that this is coming out, and it follows a family that's kind of on the rocks, and they try to bring their family closer together by reliving a vacation from their past when they were last happy. But things don't go the way that they hope, and mayhem ensues.
And it's like the Expendables, right? We've talked about it for years, right? Everybody's wanted the Expendables horror version, right? And this truly is that.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember there was a film that was marketing that, and you mentioned it. I'm a horror fan. I really am, first and foremost. And, I make movies. So I'm lucky to be making movies, and I try to make things that I'd like to see and what I think is cool. And I remember when they were trying to do that a few times with different horror films. And I was super excited and so let down by the film. So I said, this could be our crack at, doing it ourselves and having a great cast. But it didn't start out that way. It didn't start out with saying, hey, let's make a Expendable Horrors movie. It was, let's make a good horror movie, story-driven, something different, cool killer, unique look. And then the cast just kind of came together because of the story, and that's something I'm most proud of. We have a lot of Terrifier fans that are going to come out and support this film, and we're happy about that, and we deliver the goods. And Damien Leone does a lot of the gore with Phil Falcone. But at the same token, this isn't Terrifier. It's a totally different movie. We want people to know that going in. It's much more of a slower burn at the beginning, some character development stuff, really diving into some of the things that I wanted to do with story-wise and the family and character-wise. And then once you hit it, it's a roller coaster, and it just goes. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what people think.
Hell yeah.
Nice, real nice.
Hell yeah.
All
Love
right.
it. I'm excited already.
Yeah, you got to make time to go down there and see it whatever state you'll be in at the time.
Yeah, we're getting
I definitely do.
Our tickets are up for pre-sale now, and you can get them through Iconic, which is the same company that did the release for Terrifier and Terrifier 2, and now they're going to do Terrifier 3. They're doing the stream release, and you could find out theaters are being added every day, and obviously the better the pre-sales do, they can expand the release, they can expand and extend the theaters, so that's super important. To, you know, if you want to see the film, if you know where you're going to be, definitely get tickets, because it'll show why we have no marketing, we have no budget. You know, it really is grassroots. It's us trying to make a good film. It's us talking directly with the fan base and relating with them because of it, making stuff that we want. So it's really fan driven. So yeah, if you want to see it, that's the way to spread the word and to get it extended is do the pre-sales.
You know what?
Nice.
I never thought of that, right? Usually I'll wait till like a day or a few days before to get my tickets for a movie, but now that you're saying that, I'm gonna have to start stalking my movie theater and seeing if it's on
super
there.
important, and they're watching, and everyone's watching, and it shows the studios why, you know, first of all, why indie horror is so important to getting new, fresh, and exciting ideas out there, because the studios really aren't following suit right now. They're still making the same mundane stuff, which is fine as a fan. I would see my, you know, Halloween 45, 46, 46. Go and see it. You know, Nightmare on Elm Street 22. I'm gonna be there. But, you know, as a fan, you also want something new, something different, and you know, this is the way, you know, we can get it. So that's why it's super important. And those pre-sales, they're watching them, and it'll help us extend it. You know, it's the same thing with Terrifier. We were given a limited release, and that exploded because of the pre-sales and the fan base showing up.
Nice.
Yeah,
and is there any specific theater you guys are partnered up with, and any specific states right now that you got so far?
Yeah, so I don't know. I know we're all over the country. I don't know which ones have theaters, which ones don't yet. That's still coming in because it's still early. But we're in AMC. We're in the Regals. I'm hearing Cinemark stuff. I'm hearing, I think it's called Imagine, one of the theaters that are like in the Midwest. Alamo might come into play. There's a lot of local indie theaters. There's one here called the Atrium that they're doing it. So we're trying to get as many as we can. Whoever will have us, we're hoping to get in there. But
yes,
you know, but there's a lot of AMCs and Regals right now that have the film.
Awesome.
I know I'm gonna have to be harassing my theater managers here for a poster because the last ones got snatched up really quick.
And talk to the managers. Yeah, and talk to the managers too. If it's not there, tell them you want it too, because they'll, you know, talk with Icon. They have a relationship with them, and we'll try to get it in there. I'm sure we will. You know what I mean? But again, if you talk to them directly, if you know the manager, let them know if it's not there. Say, hey, we want stream here, and they'll do it.
Yeah, nice. And you know what? That's a great point to make, because my local theater wasn't going to be carrying In a Violent Nature, and talked to the manager there. And he's like, yeah, I've heard a couple people have asked us about it. It's not on our slate, but we're going to reach out and see if we can get it. So that's a great point, too.
Thank you. Yeah, and it all helps. You know, like I said, when you don't have a marketing budget behind you and these big studios able to push, because they could just bully themselves into any theater. They could, you know what I mean? And they don't like when the indie films come in and they do well. So, you know, it's really up to us in a grassroots way and the fans to push this thing. And you guys did it for Terrifier 2. Beyond came out in droves. And that's important for the genre. You know, that's the thing I'm really most proud of in regards to that. Like, everyone thinks it's the money and it's this and that. Yeah, it's great to do that, to make the next one and to survive. But at the same token, it's like the doors that Terrifier 2 opened up for indie horror and these Winnie the Poohs and In Violent Nature. None of that, and that's something I'm really, really proud of, none of that really would have happened had Terrifier not popped. And it only popped because the fans just really came out and supported it. And now these theaters are taking chances on movies like Stream and like In Violent Nature, and it's giving them a chance to be seen by the masses.
Yeah, if people don't believe that the big studios kind of muscle around the independent studios, having a relationship with people at the theaters, the studios purchase a certain number of screens that it has to film on every single day. So, you know, my theater has like 14 screens, and sometimes when a Disney movie comes out, 9 of them have to go right to the Disney movie because that's what they purchased.
100% true. 100% true.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only are they squeezing profits out of how much they get for ticket percentages, but they also squeeze people off of the theater screens too. And then they wonder why cinema is dying. But that's a topic for another occasion. So your filmmaking career started with on a similar path as Spielberg and Carpenter, where you picked up a camera as a kid, you started making movies. What struggles did you encounter and when you were first starting out?
You know, I couldn't understand the process of editing as a 4-year-old. Like I would literally take my mom's camera and I would film with my siblings and the neighborhood kids. And, you know, I was doing it where I guess they used to edit it, where you would kind of go, and if you made a mistake, you'd rewind it back, stop it right at the moment you wanted to catch it, and, you know, continue from there. And something I became fascinated with eventually as I got older is like, how do they get the credits on the screen? How do they do this? How do they type on a screen? I don't understand it. So I came up with this idea of taking a paper towel roll in my mother's house, and where I was growing up, my parents' house, and typed the credits on a typewriter that my grandmother had, and literally did it that way. And then we rolled it on the paper towel roll, filmed the paper towel roll, and I pulled so the credits would roll. Wow. So that was my way of doing credits, because I couldn't understand. It wasn't until I got to like high school to where, you know, oh, you can digitize the footage, and you know, used to be like, we used to do analog too, with like the red, the yellow, and the white wires, and like watch it through to capture it onto the computer, and then lose some quality in the process, and you know, then edit it on whatever it was then. It wasn't a iMovie, it was, I don't even remember, but it was Movie Magic or something, I don't know. Windows Movie Maker.
Windows Movie Maker.
There it is.
Yep.
Windows
I remember
Movie
that.
Maker.
Yep.
So started with that and pushed that, and then went to Sony Vegas, and then Final Cut, and then back to Premiere, and it was, so, you know, then I learned that process. But it was, you know, just as a kid, just taking the camera and doing it.
Wow.
Yeah. So do those videos, those home movies, still exist somewhere?
They do. They're actually in a box right under here, which is so funny. It's like huge boxes. When I moved, I just threw them in a box, and they're under this desk. I haven't watched them in a long time. I should do something with them. But yeah, they still exist. They're still around. You know, it's funny, we made original stuff, we made spoof stuff, we made comedy stuff, we made horror stuff, we made spin-off stuff. I remember making Back to the Future Part 4. You know, I did a Halloween movie in the snow. Like, you know, just trying different things. Made a Leprechaun sequel.
No way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so just different things we were trying, and then we would do obviously our own stuff and our own writing, and, you know, it just kind of went from there.
That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah. So, question for you. While technology makes things a lot easier, right? It makes it more accessible for people, your average Joes, just to come in and just, you know, start becoming in the film industry, if you will. Do you find it to become harder as the competition grows out there, especially with the newer technologies like newer cameras, etc., right? Because you're always seeing like a pop-up movie or a book or even, you know, like a board game just being filmed now. So what do you think about that? Do you think it's a lot tougher to become, you know, stand out in this competition?
And that's the word. Yes, absolutely. It's a lot easier to make a movie nowadays. You know, back in the day, it was very hard to make a movie. It was very expensive to make a movie. But if you made a movie, you were going to see profit, you were going to see money, you were going to get noticed, you were going to get exposed because there was less competition. Now, you can easily make a movie. You can make a movie with a phone. It's super cheap, but the competition is it's just so saturated and oversaturated, it's hard to break through. So it's like, you know, one hand, it's like, okay, now I can actually make a movie and it's great. And the other hand, it's like, well, now you're just lumped in with the masses. It's like, how do I get noticed? And that's the toughest part. That really is. It's the toughest part. It's like there's so much stuff. And there's a lot of good movies that are unseen. They just kind of fall by the wayside. It's not that they're bad movies at all. Not that they were poorly executed. It's just that they either didn't have the marketing, they didn't know how to get it out there. It just didn't hit for some reason. But, you know, and then you discover them sometimes, if you're lucky as a fan, a few years or so later, like, oh my God, how did I know about this? This is great. You know, and how come no one knows about this? How come this wasn't any bigger than what it was? And it's a shame. So, you know, it's tough, and that's why you got to come up with these creative ways of just, you know, how to get known beyond, if not just making the movie was tough enough. Now you got to get, you know, savvy with how do I get it, you know, exposed out there. You know, and for me, it's just be true to who you are. I you know, obviously doing the podcast, but also going out, grassroots, meeting with fellow fans and just talking about what I love, talking about what I'm up to. And if they dig it, then they come over and see it. If not, they're lost.
So what, to you, in your eyes, what is the biggest thing for fellow filmmakers out there? Let's say, younger folks that are just getting into it. What would you say for them to stand out in such an oversaturated market?
Yeah, I would say just make anything you can, first of all, because that's something what I got hung up on when I was younger, when YouTube and everything was just coming out. I tried to make everything polished, everything ready, everything this. But nowadays, I'm realizing it's the more content you have and just constantly rolling and putting it out and getting eyes in front of it, something there will hit, something will get noticed, something will pop. And it's that consistency. I got a group of guys that I work with that are like, we used to be the young guys, and now they're the young guys that we're working with, and their stuff is booming. They got a great following, a great channel. And look, a lot of things don't stick, a lot of things don't hit, but there are certain things along the way that do, and then they grow their fan base, then they grow their support, and they grow their people. And I told them, I said, you guys are ready to make a feature like now. I said, because you have such great support behind you. Once you have that support, people will turn out, if they really dig and enjoy what you're doing. And that's what it is too. You're not only selling your product, you're selling yourself. I mean, if you're, if you care about your work, like I would put my name on anything that I'm not going to want to, say, hey, I believe in this. This is cool to have my name a part of it. I believe in this, so if you're selling, if you're selling your product, you better be able to sell yourself too, because your name's attached to it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and then I think people they fail to realize, nose has got to be to the grindstone. Be prepared for some rejection.
Oh, for sure. You know how many times you see too, it's like, not everybody's going to love everything, and not everybody's going to hate everything, and it's just like this industry's so subjective too. It really is. Like for example, we just released the stream trailer, and there's like so many people that love it, and you have some people that are like, this is trash. I don't want to see this, and it's just, you know what I mean? You're never going to please everybody. You got to just hope you please more than you displease, and you're doing okay. I mean, with Terrifier as well. So many people loved it, but there was a lot of people that hated it. We got a lot of flack, a lot of trash about it. And look, we just know we put out a product that you make the best thing you possibly can. You feel like you put everything you could into it. You put it out into the world, and you see what it does. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. As long as you're proud of it, no matter if it does good, bad, or indifferent, in your heart, you did the best that you possibly could in that given time with those certain circumstances. You tried everything you could, and that's where you could, stand proud and tall, where it's like, hey, no matter what it does, you did your part.
Yeah. I've said that on the channel a lot of times, where it's like, if you got something done, you put it out there, that's a lot more than other people that said they want to make films and never even got off the ground with it.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it's an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. And again, even though it's easier than it was, you can shoot it on a phone, but completing things. I know so many really talented filmmakers that just don't complete things, or writers that just have good ideas and they don't finish them. They don't, execute them. So that's a thing in amongst itself. And then it's about taking that next step. Okay, now hopefully people enjoy it. You got to have a good production value. And as long as you put that in, you can sleep at night and, you see where it goes.
Yeah, so guys, don't read the YouTube comments is what he's saying. Don't listen to that negativity.
For every 5 or 6 good ones, there's like one troll. It's all right.
Yeah. And the most important thing is, don't argue with people that have different opinions.
Right.
Because it's fine that people have opinions, but don't go down that rabbit hole where you're defending certain things. It just doesn't.
Oh, so silly. It's like anything. It's like you're not going to change people's minds ever. You know what I mean? And that's their opinion. And who cares? You know what I mean? Like you can't get too high when you read something that's awesome. And, oh my God, this is the best movie ever. This trailer rocks. This is great. I can't, and then you can't get too low if someone goes, acting shit. Whatever it is,
Yep. Yeah, we're actually talking about that on our Facebook page with The Exorcist, because I've heard the differing opinions. So I put a post out there, and some people come back and say, yeah, it's a classic. You got to watch it. You got to respect the original, their history of horror. And other people's like, it's boring. It's complete garbage.
Right.
I don't like it. Yeah, so
it's crazy. I see it on it's everything. It's never, nothing ever has 100% one way or the other. Even if you make to the flip side, you make the worst movie in history. It is garbage. It literally is garbage. Like, it's so bad, right? There's someone out there, I promise you, that will like that movie and will praise it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, it could go both ways, you know? Like, again, it's so subjective.
Absolutely. Or you can be a heel like Danny Vega on the Danny Vega show. Always argue with people in the comments to raise up the view rate on your channel.
Oh yeah. Well, look, no
strategy right there.
No press,
Especially
no
Disney.
press is bad press. That's so true.
There we go.
And that's true too. You know, like the guys I was talking about, like their content sometimes, like they do some funny stuff, but they're trolls. They're people that just hate their stuff and they comment, but they're funny. They don't argue with them. They just like will at their name and make like a weird emoji, and the guy's like, "Huh? What?" And that's another thing. Like, and they just do it because it just spikes their views. It just gets more comments. It gets more traction.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The
I found that
queen
works best for
rises
me.
to the top.
All right, so you mentioned Terrifier 2, and in that film, the cinematography that we saw was merging the modern-day filmmaking with the feel of the 80s horror. Now, you mentioned earlier that, you know, Stream is heavily influenced by the 70s and 80s horror. So is that something that we can expect to see with Stream as well, that feel, but also have that crispness of the modern age?
Yeah, it's again, it's a little different because it's weird, just like the way we did Terrifiers, like we wanted everything to be seen. Nothing was in the shadows. Everything was bright and overlit. Like to say like, hey, we're putting Art the Clown's kills on blast. You know what I mean? We want you to see and feel everything. You know, whereas with Stream, the movie's very colorful, obviously. It's a very, very colorful, very saturated film. But we have some shadows and darker things as well with some of those modern cool and orange tones that seems to be so popular nowadays. It is influenced very much. There's some 70s, there's some 80s, a little bit of 90s that's in there. But again, it's kind of bringing those things together because we love those things. That's why they're in Terrifier. That's why it's in Terrifier 2. Even Terrifier 3, wait till you see how that was done. It's a totally different vibe from the last one. It's way more back to like that grungy 70s, you know, early 80s feel. Black Christmas, the John Carpenter stuff, pockets of light is all I remember Damien talking about. It's just like pockets and beams of light surrounded by shadows to give it that gritty, darker feel. And we accomplished it. It's pretty cool. So like, you know, each film we try to do something different, but again, you're always going back to that time period, whether it's the 70s, 80s, or the 90s, where, you know, because those are the films that was when horror was rocking and rolling, you know what I mean? And that was the stuff that we grew up on loving. So you try to emulate those things with your own little twist. But what's cool is the way we did our lenses, though. We did something different, now that I remember this, is so we would take, and this is a more modern style of filmmaking, whereas, and the shots are unsettling and uneasy because you would take a wide angle lens and we would go super close to where, now depending on the lens, like it would almost fishbowl a little bit, and that's like that modern kind of style, but it makes it feel like the world is kind of closing in on you, and it's very awkward. It's not that pretty. You know what I mean? It's so we did that a lot when the characters were getting into trouble, or there was like a sense of, you know, tension that was coming, or death, or whatever that was near them. We would do that kind of thing that we didn't do in Terrifier. It was its own Stream thing. So, you know, and our wide shots in Stream were camera shots. You know, because we're trying to have that modernization of technology. So our wide shots weren't your normal wide shots. You know what I mean? We had wide shots, but they were more like medium shots. And then like your actual wide shots were these like super wide, you know, camera voyeuristic kind of people watching your shots.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I noticed the close-ups in the trailer.
Yeah.
That was something that popped out.
Yeah, when they're looking around. And those close-ups in the trailer, it's a wide-angle lens put really, really close, and it's again to have that awkward uneasiness. And that's a more modern style of filmmaking. Your phone actually does that. Like if you naturally put your phone up like really close, it kind of does that naturally with the lenses of the phone. So that's what we kind of tried to mimic in certain parts of the film. You know, you don't want to do it all the time because it's not, you know what I mean? It's unnecessary, but you know, we shot the movie normally up other than some of those areas.
Awesome. Hell
Danger.
Yeah. Woo! Right. So question for you. The idea for Stream came before you began working on Terrifier in 2016. Terrifier 2, excuse me.
Terrifier 1 as
How
well.
did this... Oh, nice. Awesome. So how did this original idea come to you, right?
Yeah,
So-
I always, you know, I would, for years, I would be laying in bed and I'd always said I want to make a movie in one location. And I kept going to this scene, which is funny, we never even shot this scene. It was written, we never did it. We cut it. The scene of this family driving in a car, going to a hotel. I just kept replaying this over and over and over again, this hotel and family, and something's off, you know. And for years, I didn't know what to do with it, where to put it. And then I was working on a film with Scout Taylor Compton, Tyler Main, Danny Roebuck, and John Schneider, and a couple of wrestlers, Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page, called Penance Lane.
Yes.
It was Tyler Main's movie, and we were in Georgia shooting the film, and it was there that I had the epiphany of like, hey, there's something here we can do, and I started spitballing it with Steve, my partner, and my brother Jason. Like, we're all kind of talking together about, like, you know, how can we come up with this? And there was another guy that we were involved with that was that helped us write it, come up with the idea. And from there, it just kind of springboard, and it went. And we wrote the first draft in like two and a half weeks, like the first draft. Fast. It was flowing. It never flew like that. And it was like, let's do this and this. But then you sit on it. You try to raise money, and, you know, you have other projects that come in the way, and you're just constantly always going back to it, reworking the script and thinking about it. And then we worked on and partnered with Damien with the Terrifier franchise. And from there, it was like, oh shit, like we could really turn the kills up and make them creative and make them gory. You know, originally it wasn't like that. I wasn't a gore guy growing up. You know, I was you know, I was a Halloween guy, you know what I mean? Where it was, you know, he just stabs once, he kills, he's in the shadows, he's lurking, he's stalking. But at the same token, I did love Nightmare on Elm Street, which was a little gory, I guess, to some extent, but it was fantastical kind of gore. And I was a Leprechaun fan as well. And again, those movies, they're gory, but they're not. It's not like the Friday the 13th and the Tom Savini's, where they were like, and the Evil Deads and stuff. So I didn't really get into that till later on, and then I really got a new appreciation of it when I met Damien, and I was like, wow, this is like an art form. This is really cool. This delivers the goods. This is crazy. And then I started really getting into that. But again, originally Stream wasn't that gory until Damien came on board, and it was like, oh, this could be, you know, we could really have some fun here.
Cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Friday the 13th. It's kind of weird, right? Because as a kid, scared of everything, scared of Chucky, which is silly. You watch Chucky now, you're like, what the hell, right? Scared of all of this, but something, you know, brought that into me. Just this big dude, hockey mask, just killing everybody, right? And you're just like, what was that? And you're saying it, you know, everything has this essence. It's one of the few older gory films, right? And then not only that, I love when I watched the behind the scenes of it. They're like, we need to make a Halloween but gorier, right? We need someone to stand out. And so it's just like you said earlier, always try to find the things that are standing out. So that's really cool that you're like, oh, it's not gory, but here comes another essence of Damien coming in, and now you got this
and it became our thing too, like this gore and this mega slasher thing, like these longer kind of, you know, over the top gore and violent, and also longer horror films. So it's funny how it kind of fell into that, you know, naturally too. Excuse me. And I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited for everybody to see it. We work super hard. It is a fun ride. There's some creative kills, but at the same token, there's, you know, like I said, some really good characters that are beyond the horror names and the icons that are there, that I'm most interested in seeing their careers pop, hopefully, from this.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, we saw that happen with Terrifier 2, so I'm sure we may see that with this as well.
Be awesome. They deserve it. Everybody, you know, really worked their butts off. So. The killer's on his arm, Stream, and there's another guy I just met that says, oh, next time I see you, I'm working on it, I'm getting a tattoo of Player 3 on my arm, and it's crazy. Then I make a joke. I said, what if you don't like the movie? It'll be fun. It's a different kind of thing. It's got your gore, it's got your, you know, it's got that element that, you know, if you're coming to see anything we're a part of, it's going to have, but it's got a lot of comedy to it.
And just to let everybody know, we are running a contest this summer where every video that gets 100 likes and 100 comments will have our subscribers eligible to win this Puppet Master Blu-ray box set with all of the films included in it. It's a $120 value that we're giving away for free. So drop in the comments what your favorite kill in this episode was, what your least favorite kill in this episode was, what we should have included, because we may include it in a future episode, or answer the question at the end of the video. So like, subscribe, and help our channel grow, and win something in the process.